Hi everyone, my name's Chris Amoo and I'm the lead singer with The Real Thing. You know the song. You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. Okay, let's go straight to the top of the charts.
Go straight to the top of the charts. Go straight to the top of the charts. From 10 to 1, you gotta show number 1 when you go straight to the top of the charts. Top of the charts, top of the charts. That song's gonna climb to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top, right to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts.
Now, I've got to tell you, it's a great pleasure to have Chris Amoo on the show. You've got to tell me how you got the song and how it started from there, Chris.
Well, we were just a young band touring around at the time. And although Eddie and I, my brother, were writing songs, we didn't feel they were like really commercial. So our manager set about trying to find us a song. And one day, we were working with a guy called David Essex at the time. So we were starting to make a little bit of a name for ourselves. And this guy came in with this song. And I was in the office with our manager. And we both listened to it. And we thought, oh, yes, that sounds quite good, you know. And before he left the office, we'd signed, sealed, delivered it. And a week later, we went into the studio and actually recorded it. Funny enough, when the record company first heard the song, they weren't really keen on it for some reason. But in them days, because we had a little bit of shove, because of the work we've been doing with David Essex and things, they went along with it. And thank God they did, you know, because the rest is history.
That is a hit song. You hear it and you know it's a hit song. What is wrong with these people? That's a hit song by a mile.
Yeah. The problem is sometimes, though, is you can have a hit song, but if it's not put down properly, it becomes something completely different, as did Can't Get By Without You. Because our second big hit, Can't Get By Without You, was actually recorded before, and I can't even remember who did it. And it meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing. Yet when we did it, after You To Me Are Everything, because it was recorded properly, I mean, it was almost as big a seller as You To Me Are Everything. So it just goes to show you that you do need that magic injection into a good song.
Just tell me a little bit about that, working with David Essex, because he's a big legend.
Well, we got to know David Essex through his producer, who was Jeff Wayne, who was the producer of War of the Worlds. And Jeff, I used to do a lot of jingles for Jeff, like Cadbury's Dairy Milk, Wrigley's Spearmint Gum, all them type of adverts on the television and things, because he liked my voice, you know. And he loved the sound of the group as well, because as a group, we used to do some of these things as well. So when he was doing David's new album, he asked us if we'd do some backing vocals on the album. And David absolutely loved us when he saw us, when he met us, because like I say, we were only 4 young guys from the ghetto of Liverpool, and David was very much an East End guy himself, you know. So he took to us straight away, and we used to do Top of the Pops with him and things like that. And so that's how we met David Essex, took us on tour with him. And that led us to doing quite a few tracks on one of the biggest sellers of all time, which was War of the Worlds, which was produced by Jeff Wayne. And that was our association with David Essex, you know.
Just have to show you this, because I just bought this last week for my one of my record stores. Well, I've only got one record store. And I could, you know, when I was looking at all the credits, I mean, I've got all David's albums actually. Yeah. But when I'm reading the back and all the credits, obviously you're there.
Yeah.
But more than that, and this is another thing about connections in life. Brian Harris, a photographer, I worked for him in the mid 80s. After I worked at IPC magazines, I actually worked for Brian Harris at Hoban Studios.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Small world.
So I know, exactly. But yeah, so there's all the credits, you know, it's just amazing. But, you know, what a fabulous cover. Isn't that a fabulous cover?
It is.
And I've got
David used to know how to set himself up for the photo. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I just got to ask you a little bit about the US market, right? What did they understand about the US market? I don't understand that they didn't know you were from the UK.
No. Well, the public didn't know we were from the UK, but by the time the record companies knew we were from the UK, because they were all fighting for the record, because it was number one in England, and England held a lot of sway in the world. When you had a big hit in England, people used to listen, you know, especially Europe and things like that. It's like when you have a hit in America, you listen, you know, when it's number one in America, all around the world, they go, you know. But with Utami or everything, a lot of record companies were fighting for the song. They were fighting for the record. And when we signed with, I can't even remember the company we signed for now, in all honesty. When we signed for the company that ended up releasing it, the companies that didn't get the record, within 24 hours, had done versions of their own. And Frankie Valli was just one of the ones of 4 Seasons. He was just one of the ones who did a cover. And it was, so what happened was, there was like 3 or 4 versions out at the same time. So you're all fighting for airplay over in America as well. So basically the song just got lost over there. It went higher than all the other 3, but nevertheless it got lost. But I think as well, the fact that it was actually recorded in England had a lot to do with it maybe not being a hit in America.
I just wanted to ask Chris, because all these hits obviously from 76 onwards, and then the fantastic writers, I mean, Gold and then, I mean, you know, explain about the re-released, or no, it wasn't released, it was unreleased, wasn't it? Someone ought to write a song about you, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that again, you know, it has the same feel as You to Me, because it was written at the same time, wasn't it? But it wasn't released. Why wasn't it released? What was it hidden away? What explain about that and how it got released recently?
Okay, when you used to go into the studios, you used to go in and lay down for the single. You used to go in and lay down 2 or 3 tracks, and Someone ought to write a song about your baby was one of the 3 tracks that we actually recorded at the time. I remember the session perfectly, actually. But on that same session, we recorded Can't Get By Without You. So basically, that was the one we chose, Can't Get By Without You. Thank God, because once again, it was a huge hit. So by the time it come to going in again and doing another single, we wanted a slight change of direction, and we wanted to put out a ballad. So that's when we put out You Never Know What You're Missing. And that was, and you know, wasn't as big as You to Me and Can't, but it was a hit. You know, it was a good hit. 13 or 14 in the charts, which in them days, you know, you're talking 200,000 records. And then by the time it come to picking another song for a single, we were writing things like Can You Feel the Force and that then. And basically it just got lost in all that because, you know, we never wanted to stay in that bracket all the time. Because for us, it's like, because we were creative ourselves and we did write our own material, and it was You to Me and that was slightly different to what we were at the time. We wanted to sort of make sure that we weren't too typecast to the same type of song. That's why we went with Can You Feel the Force? And Raining Through My Sunshine and things like that. So it just got lost. And all the masters at one point got burned. There was a fire in our manager's office and all the masters got burned. So that was one of the masters that got burned. So it was gone, basically. When we were doing the film, the producer, Simon Sheridan, got in touch with Ken Gold to interview him. And Ken just happened to say, well, actually, I've got a song that we recorded with the guys. I've got a stereo recording of it, he says, and it was never released. And just out of interest, would you like to hear it? So he had a listen. And he went, God, he said, that sounds like really fresh. So he played it to the record company, who were releasing a best of album, which is on your thing, on your shelf. And they said, oh, we'd love to put it on. But for me, the thing that they got wrong was they weren't that interested in selling that song. So we did a lot of television at the time that we've just released that best of album, and to go with the film and things. But all they were sort of getting us to sing was "You to Me" and "Can't Get By," which that sold the best of album.
In 2020 that came out. It's on iTunes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it did really well. And like I say, Someone Ought to Write a Song would have been huge if we'd have been singing that one on all the TV shows, as opposed to "You to Me." But
and it did very well, Chris. It did very well in Mike Reed's Heritage Chart. Now I know Mike, you know Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, so it did very well in his chart.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Now I just want to say, what a fantastic, massive hit. You had The Real Thing here in Australia. I just can't tell you how great it was and how it was in the UK and went to #1. And I'm going to let Sabine tell you about the charts.
Okay, thank you.
Right, well, we'll have to start with 1976. We have to start with "You to Me," which is a very special meaning, very special memory for me, as I say, because I was at college and you came to my college in Basingstoke, did the gig for our students. I met Tony Hall, very sweet guy, very respected guy in the business. And I was trying to find my Pi record card that you all signed for me, but it's somewhere. It's filed away somewhere, but I have it. And so that was a very special memory. And as we recall, was a very hot summer, wasn't it? It was a heat wave. Do you remember?
Hottest I can remember.
It was a real scorcher. It was such a scorcher. But that year was massive for you. And then as you say, so you had #1 for 3 weeks with "You to Me." Then you had #2, "Can't Get By Without You."
Can't Get By Without You.
And it just went on and on and on. And then, but I just wanted, and then "Can You Feel the Force," 1979. #5. But I also want to touch on the very first. You remember the Plastic Man, which you did that first appearance on Top of the Pops. How was that? What memory? What do you remember especially about that appearance on Top of the Pops? I remember that really well.
Yeah, that was way before, a long time, as you know, before "You to Me" or everything.
Oh yeah.
And we'd done Opportunity Knocks, which was huge in England at the time, and we won that. And Plastic Man was our second single that we did after that. Now, we had a bit of a following because of Opportunity Knocks. And we were really young then. I mean, we were really sort of, And we did. Our manager phoned us up and says, "Oh, you're in the charts." What do you mean? Plastic Man has just come into the charts. People forget that it was a top 40. Plastic Man actually went top 40. Or top 50. Was it top 50 then? Top 50 anyway. Enough for us to do Top of the Pops anyway. Let's put it that way. And we were all excited, and it was fantastic, because we used to watch Top of the Pops every Thursday when it came on. Then all of a sudden you're on it.
You Are My Everything. I mean, look, that is like the greatest song. And when I mean that, went to number 22 in Australia.
Yeah, can I just ask you something? Do you like that song?
I love that song. That's the #1 song. I'm not joking.
I'm having a joke. I'm having a joke.
Yeah. It's all right. It's a Liverpool wit. No, it's true. Yeah.
Funny thing, we went to America with David Essex. This is way before "You to Me," and we played at the Roxy in LA and the Bottom Line, really famous places. And people were flabbergasted when they heard us speaking, because they couldn't believe the Liverpool accent. They couldn't believe it. The Beatles. You're some same places. The Beatles. Keep talking. We're going, And it was really funny, because they genuinely were so over the moon when they heard the accents, And you got to understand, in some of these the gigs that we were doing, you had Rod Stewart and everyone sitting in the front, and our manager knew the Beatles quite well. And I always remember we were doing the Roxy in LA, and Ringo Starr came in, and he was sat next to our manager, and he says, "Oh, has he got anything to do with the chants?" And our manager says, "Well, actually, Chris is Eddie's brother who used to be with the Chants." Because my brother, who died, used to be in a band called the Chants, and they were very close to the Beatles. And I know that we were asked about a photograph, a framed photograph of my brother.
It was in the documentary, Chris.
Taken with the Beatles and things. unfortunately, I don't have that because it had nothing to do with me. It was my brother and his family have got it, you know. But it just shows you how, once again, how small of a world. When we won Best New Group of '76 for the Daily Mirror Pop Awards, Wings with Paul McCartney, they won Best Rock Group. And we were standing ready to go on. And he come running up and he went, Eddie, how are you doing? You know, because he remembered him from the chance. And so we got talking and we were saying, you guys, you've made it. He says, you've made it. He says, you're going to be really sort of huge. Yeah. And Eddie just happened to say, well, if we can keep it going. And Paul says, oh, you'll keep it going. It's easy. Just keep it going. He says, But he's so down to earth. He's such a lovely person.
Yeah. And it was the Tower Ballroom, wasn't it? It was that Macca was, the connection there was made, wasn't it? Because played at the Cavern in 1962. Yeah. So, you know, it goes back even further, doesn't it? And the media actually gave you the thing of saying, well, here's the Black Beatles. You know, they're from Liverpool. They're the Black Beatles, you know? Yeah, that's what the media conjured up, didn't they?
Yeah. They did.
So there we go. Yeah. So that's again an early memory, but it's such an important part of your history, you know?
Well, it is. It is a part. It's more a part of Eddie's history. You know, I mean, what was fantastic about it is that when we'd be on our journeys and things like that, Eddie would tell us things. So we got to learn what the Merseybeat scene was like in them days, you know, and not being a part of it, because obviously we were never a part of that scene. It's interesting, like you, to hear these stories about what happened and how it was and things like that. But I'm like you. I only know from hearsay what it was like. I just wish if Eddie was still alive, it would have been lovely for you to have spoken to him because he could tell you firsthand. Absolutely firsthand. He could have told you.
The documentary is superb, Chris. I mean, I've seen it a few times. I went along to the Regent's Street cinema to see it, and
it was great.
Genesis, where the Q&A was happening with Simon. So I got to talk to him afterwards. She asked him a question or two.
Brilliant.
And it really, you know, it was so in depth and really did touch on those struggles that you had in the early days, you know, because there were struggles, and then there were, you know, everything else that went with it. You know what I'm talking about. You know all the background, but the way it was shot. My goodness me, I have to tell you, I mean, I appreciate art, I appreciate everything, but photography, I just thought it was absolutely superbly put together. So, you know, but the story, how it unfolded, again, superb, you know. So,
well, Simon promised us, Sabine, when he came in, he promised us if we agreed to do it, he would, first of all, not just make it poppy, because there's been 10 million things done about you to me and things. If we were going to do a documentary, it had to be hard hitting, but not making people uncomfortable. We didn't want people to feel uncomfortable when they were watching the movie, but we wanted them to know what was actually happening.
Well,
to get that
real,
balance,
you know?
To get that balance is very difficult, because it could have been a whole, let's say, the whole world's against us, the whole world's racist, the whole, you know, coming from a black perspective, you know, and we had to fight this. But it was very well balanced, the whole thing. It got our point across, but it also got the lovely times across as well. Because believe you me, this career and this country has been fantastic to the real thing. It really has. And, you know, we've got a life because of this country. And we wanted that to come out in the documentary also. And that's where Simon, as far as I'm concerned, is a genius. And it's the best thing that anybody's ever done for us.
It was very joyous too, very joyous. And all the comments from, you know, the talking heads will say, you know, like from Kim Wilde. Oh, Kim Wilde, oh, she loves you. Oh, she loves you. So do I, of course. But you know, all those talking heads and all the artists that respect you guys, you know, that was wonderful to see as well, because so the way it was all put together, brilliant, absolutely. Is it available on DVD? We need to know this.
It is definitely.
What this is about is we're getting out the greatest stories from the group, from your history.
Right.
And as I said to you, at that particular time in 76, just on what you did in the UK, it should have been bigger for you in the US, because I can tell you something.
I agree with you.
You're equal to them, if not better than them. That's what I'm trying to say, without a doubt in my mind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where we were very unlucky, where we really did almost crack it over there, was with Can You Feel the Force? But once again, they screwed up. Once again, they were crying for it. They were calling us the English Earth, Wind and Fire and all that.
Yes.
They put the wrong bloody mix out. They put the wrong mix out.
Who was your representative over there, Chris? Because it all depends on your management over there. It depends on all the people who are employed to make sure that you got the right version out. You hit the right timing. All that kind of thing. I could have done a better job than that. It's so frustrating because you should have been. You really, by right, should have been part of an extension of the Motown then. Maybe not Motown, but an extension of the soul sounds that were coming out at that time. So that was a real shame. But look how big you are over here in Europe. You're massive.
I'll tell you what was really nice. We worked with the Stylistic a couple of years ago. Well, we work with them often, but we work with them, and they were telling me that when they used to come over to do Top of the Pops, they always, and when they used to come over and tour, they always wanted to work with us. Right. They'd never met us, but they were always hoping that they get the chance to work with us when they came over, which I thought was a compliment, because I used to buy their albums.
Absolutely.
Everybody here in Australia knows the song. Now, if I saw the video clip on TV, I'm being honest, I'd say that's an American group. And you know why?
Yes.
Because you got an American sound. It doesn't sound British. That is what the difference is there. You play that clip, play it against any disco song, the Bee Gees or whatever, I can tell you that's US. There's no way I thought it was English. You guys pull it off so great.
That's probably why it was a hit. That's probably why it was a hit, because people thought it was American. If they'd have known it was English, they'd probably go, "Oh, I ain't playing that."
That's the thing, though, Chris. I wanted to ask is that because we're hearing the songs, and whether you're from Liverpool or from Wales or wherever you're from, the accent doesn't get accentuated in when you're singing. How is that? I do sing. I sing with the rock choir. But the thing is, what I'm always as a musician, so you're singing, but your Liverpool accent doesn't come through.
Doesn't come across. Yeah.
No.
Well, I suppose it's the same with anyone really. If you maybe listen to if an Italian artist does a ballad or something and he's singing, you probably wouldn't know he's from Italy. Because basically, I don't know why it is. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't understand. Someone has
Bruce, I'm going to say now, after I saw the song, you got to understand, there's very few artists that can pull off the American sound. Unless I'm actually talking to you, then I'm thinking the guy's English. But just by watching that film clip, I'm thinking did you guys film that clip on Soul Train? They used to be the biggest show in American TV where they did disco. That could have come out of there. I'm dead set.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked to people who've been connected to Heatwave and Earth, Wind and Fire, and and of course, again, and there's such big bands and big sounds and great soul sounds, and you kind of, if you didn't know the real thing that much about them, you would assume, as Plastic says, that you were
just all part of that, well, that's a good thing, because that's what I was brought up on. That is how I learned my craft. I mean, I learned my craft listening to people like the OJs, the Temptations, the lead singers. They're the type of singers that I used to put the record on and sit in the front room singing along with them, trying to get the trill that they have. That's how I learned. So that's probably why.
Yeah, but that's a great thing. That's not an easy thing to pull that off. You can't fake that. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot fake that. When you take that to a level that's equal to them in the US. That's what I'm trying to say. Pick out any song from the US in 1976 and put yours against it, and you can't tell the difference. That's the level that it's on. Yeah. That's what my point is.
Yeah.
I like the story too, just sort of going back again, is that, you know, Tony Hall thought of your name because he happened to be in Piccadilly Circus and he saw like the advertising, the neon signs and everything, and it came to him. I think that's wonderful. You know, what a light bulb moment. You know, so when he actually talked to you then about that, what did you guys think initially about having that name?
When we met Tony, number one, I wasn't even doing any lead singing at the time, and it was Tony who said to me, we went down to do a song for the guys who wrote "Ha Ha Said the Clown." Da, 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 da,
yeah, you know who they are. They're Manfred Mann.
Manfred Mann,
Manfred Mann. Yeah, well, they wrote that. These two writers wrote it. And they had a song called "Standing on the Dark Side of the Moon," which was a really nice song, actually. But they didn't know they wanted to sing it. So we went down to the house and we were all stood around the piano, and they said, right, we want each of you to sing a couple of lines from the song. So each of us sung a couple of lines from the song and said, right, we want you to sing it. Pointed to me. So that was the first thing. And then when we met Tony, Tony wants to know why I wasn't singing, because me and Eddie used to write. Well, Eddie wasn't with us then. So I used to write songs and I'd play them to Tony, and Tony would go, I love the voice the song needs, but why aren't you singing more? I want to hear you singing more. So that's when I became a lead, shall we say, a sort of a lead singer, as it were.
Yeah.
As I say, we were very young and very raw, and we were actually called vocal perfection at the time. So Tony said to us, guys, perfect you ain't. And if we put out a record, or if people come to see you, you're going to have to be vocal perfection. Your vocals are going to have to be perfect to live up to the name. And you're not going to be able to do that at this stage of your career. So we need a new name. And that's when we became, he was driving around Piccadilly and he saw the name, The Real Thing. And he said, what about this? And we said, yeah, that's the one, The Real Thing.
It's such a great name.
Yeah, and that's
how did he clear it? How did he clear it with the Coca-Cola company, though? Chris?
Yeah, nothing to do with Coca-Cola. Yeah, nothing to do with. I mean, if I say to you, you look like the real thing, it's got nothing to do with Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just words. If we use their logo, it would have something.
Oh, sure.
But just call it
the copyright thing. That's completely different. Yeah. Oh, cool. I always wondered that. Yeah. Fantastic.
Tell everybody about your links, where your music is. What are you currently doing now? You guys want to go out and play? What is it now in 2021 you guys want to do?
Right, we've got. I'm just in the latter stages of completing a new album with new songs, and we're just mixing that at the moment. So that's what we've been doing during lockdown. So that's going to be about 12 new songs. On that album, we're also going to include a live version that we did on the Jazz Cafe of Children of the Ghetto, the way we do it now. So that's one thing that we're doing. When everything opens up again, the movie is going into the showcase cinemas. So we're going to be going around doing Q&As in that as well. Question and answers. We're doing a lot of festivals during the summer, as you know. And basically, we're doing, if it opens up, we're going to be coming to Germany, Holland, France. So it's a pretty busy schedule. But the thing that we're most excited about is the new album. And also we're going to be promoting, obviously, the film and the best of album, because we think it's a great best of album.
There it is. You can see it behind me.
We think it's a really, we think it's a really good one. It's not like your usual best of albums, which just have you. Make sure that you go out and buy the very best of The Real Thing that you can see right there. It's really worthwhile buying. And that's coming out of the mouth of the guy who sang 98% of the songs on there.
And look at this. I love this.
Wow.
I wish I'd been there because I love Liverpool.
Go out and buy the real thing live. It's the last time you're going to see or hear Eddie doing the show live on there.
Yeah. Absolutely superb. And I just wanted to show you this because he signed this for me at the Jazz Cafe.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
and I put Eddie in there. Look, I got to have Eddie on there.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's great. Yeah, I love that.
This one as well. I got that
Brilliant.
for my Eel Pie record company, which I support my local record store because, you have to support your local traders.
Yeah. And don't forget to buy the film, which is out on DVD.
Yes.
As well. Yeah. It's called Everything. Yeah.
So
I remember that one.
Yeah.
That one.
I'll Get By Without You. Then I got that one.
Yeah. That was a good time because that was the remix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was in '86 when it was released. Yeah. Good.
And then I've got Chris. Look, I know I gave you a record last time at the Jazz Cafe because it is an actual your own record, just you. And I can't remember what it's called now, but I gave it to you.
This Must Be Love. This Must Be Love.
Yes, that's the one.
This Must Be Love.
Let me know what you're missing. I loved. So I got that. Okay, I've got on the pie label, and then I've got the original version of You to Me.
Wow.
Okay, and then I've got the disco mix somewhere. Where did I put the disco mix? I've got so much stuff.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, I know. Got it all going on here. Anyway, but also I wanted to ask you, Chris, merchandise, because do you know why I don't have a T-shirt? How do I?
You don't?
How's that?
You don't have a T-shirt?
I don't have a T-shirt. It is.
Well, I've got a T-shirt. I've got a T-shirt which I got off Simon to promote the film, Everything. Right? Yeah. And we want everybody to go out and buy the Blu-ray or the DVD, I'm in view, of our film, Everything. There you go. That's
going to be a big seller, Chris, for sure. And make sure you go Spotify, iTunes, all the platforms, and check out the music of The Real Thing, because let me tell you, they are fantastic. I think 2021, Chris, is going to be your year.
Yeah. And I'd like to just say to Sabine, if you go on our Facebook page, we are putting some new stuff. There is new stuff on there. I don't know if you've heard it. On our Facebook page, which is The Real Thing on Facebook.
Yeah.
And one or two of the songs we're going to be previewing on there. There's one or two that are on there now. A nice ballad called Hang On Never Let Go, which I think you'll like. So check it out. Check it out when we go off.
I will do. And I'm very good at sharing, so I'll share it all out.
All right. Okay. I really want to thank Chris Amoo from The Real Thing. Believe me, the world loves him. And anybody who doesn't know the band The Real Thing, just get on iTunes and Spotify and start listening to those great hits, because they really are. And everybody that hears it even now, I mean, my mind's blown away. That's my favourite song.
That's brilliant. Honestly, that is really great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris, for being on. Go straight to the top of the charts.
Thanks, Chris. It's been an absolute honour. Thank you so much.
And look out for the new album.